All right. So I just got off a call with a hotel owner and the regional director for this portfolio of hotels. And I found out that through our conversations and then speaking with their general manager, we had a few, let's call them small problems or issues coming up. And have you ever looked at your hotel's money and looking at the expenses and you're like, hey, are these expenses real? Why is it we're jumping from 5,000 this week to 30,000 the next week? And what happens there? It's going to be a little embarrassing. It's a little frustrating. And so that's exactly what they came to us for over here at Platform Business Advisors. What is going on with their expenses? Why are they jumping up? Why are they so cash strapped in their hotel? How do we get our cash flow under control? And so what it actually came down to is a very, very simple solution. It turns out that the hotel general manager thought that if an invoice wasn't going to be paid that particular week, then they were holding on to it. He actually had a folder there on his desk of invoices that had not yet been submitted to accounts payable to be paid because it was just the area of like, hey, if it's not going to be paid this week, I don't have to turn it in. But you see, that's that's going to leave a big shock to the regional director, whoever's approving the payments, to the ownership group, because what they thought they only owed 5,000, they actually owed 30,000 of $25,000 worth of additional expenses. And so, why is holding on to invoices such a bad idea? So, first of all, what's going to happen here? It's going to have those invoices impacted on the wrong accounting period. When you wait to submit invoices, they're going to get recorded in the wrong month, more than likely. So an invoice for supplies used in July that's submitted in October is going to make your July financials look a lot better than they actually were. It's going to make those October reports really kind of rough around the edges. Those expenses are going to be higher than actually of the products that was used. Not only that, the ownership group, when they submit those trailing 12, your income statement, your profit and loss statement over to ownership, they're going to be inaccurate. That $10,000 expense in July, your July P&L is going to show a $10,000 more profit than was actually made. And that's exactly what was happening month after month with this particular hotel group. Not only that, they were also in a very poor relationship with some vendors. They were getting calls from vendors saying, hey, you haven't paid. Hey, we're not going to stop working with you. They've already had to switch over to different cleaning vendors because they weren't paying them on a timely manner. And it was and those supplies and those services were becoming late. They were not having the best reputation in town with that. And finally, it's those cash flow surprises. Not knowing what you owe is going to lead to those big surprises over on, which with the regional director and the ownership group getting involved on there. So we had that $5,000, and now we owe $30,000 with those $25,000 extra expenses that were all 100% true. But because the general manager thought that if they didn't have to be submitted right then, because they weren't going to be paid that week, he didn't have to submit them at all. And so that is not the best plan for your hotel. So what's the simple solution for this? For better hotel cash flow, actually know what you have. The number one thing is to make sure you submit all of your invoices weekly. Every invoice you get, submit it weekly. Pick a day each week, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday are the best days to submit your weekly invoices in. Mondays and Fridays, you've got guests checking out from the weekend, and you've got big influx on Fridays. So you want as little operational work on the accounting side as you can during those days, and this allows you to capture everything your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the previous week. Next, we want to track those expenses properly. When you submit them, that allows your accounting team then to record the expense in the correct time period, making sure that July expense is actually hitting in July. Then your whole operations team knows exactly what you owe and when. They can see all the invoices. They can run the aging reports and see who is due when. Then they can approve whether or not that invoice is going to be paid that week, but now it's actually in your accounting system, so it can actually be paid. And that allows the team, then your operations team, to plan your payments. So they know what cash flow is going to look like, the whole picture of it. So that's a very simple way. So remember, no, 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 no. GMs, regional managers, directors, if you get an invoice, do not hold on to it. Go ahead and submit it into the accounting system so that it's ready to go and it can be paid no matter what and when those funds are available. I hope you found this tip helpful and have a great day.